Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter at the workbench with the next in the line of planes to inspect and review the Lie-Nielsen 4.5 smoothing plane. Now, as you can see, their box came within an outer box, very nicely packed. And Lie-Nielsen has learned a long time ago that you could utilize the same box for different size planes just by putting added packing material in it, and that protects the nose and the tail of the plane. So it is very well protected. Now, also in the box, there are papers, of course, but also a desiccant to protect the plane in transit. And then we have a cradle for the end on each end. All right. We'll get that out of the way. Now, this is something that they are known for. This is just newsprint paper, but they are known for the way they wrap their plane up and tuck it in. They do a very nice job of that. Years ago, I remember them just tucking this piece in. Now they actually add a piece of tape to it. When you open this, it is wrapped in the rust preventative and a cushioning foam. Get that all out of the way. And there it is. I am truly hoping this is a demo plane, because I like planes that have been used. So, there is no blade projecting. I'll let you have a good glimpse at it. And we'll start as we always do with how much does it weigh? We had it last registering in pounds. We have 5.756 pounds. And that translates out to 2610 grams. All right. You know you're picking it up. Trust me, it's a good weight. So as to length, it has the round tail, which supports the tote. And so it is basically 10 1/4 overall. But if you were to measure it before that round, it's 9 3/4. As to the width, I'm going to have to get the calipers out on this. It measures 2 13/16 plus a 32nd. 2 and 27 30-seconds. The cheeks, the left cheek measures in at 0.01 0.01. Let's see what we got here. 0.18. Let's call it 0.195. Let's see if we can try that one again. 0.17585. 0.186. And on the right side, 0.1. Geez, that's darn close. 0.17585. Yeah, 87. 0.187. So the cheeks are almost identical. Now, as to flatness, where is me paper? There is me paper. So every time I do this, we're on the same spot on the stone. Pick up the nose, snug. Pick up the nose, snug. Under the mouth, snug. Under the heel, snug. Turn it around. Snug, 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 snug. It's flat. Now, as to the cheeks, are they square? Let's move that in just a little bit. Wow. There is a tiny sliver of light at the top. I would say that is a square within a half a thousandth on the left. On the right, once again, move it in. A thousandth, maybe out a thousandth. So the left was square within 0.0005 and the right is 0.001. That's pretty darn square. So now we can push the testing block out of the way. And based on the color of the tote and the knob, this is a demo plane. This has been used before. It's darker in color. So now we get into the lever cap. And that is something that Lie-Nielsen is known for. When they ship a plane, they tighten down the lever cap. It's just, that's something they're known for. The lever cap is bronze. Some will say brass, but it's bronze. Oh, that is so finely made, and it's a pass for sure. Into the cutting edges. So let's start with the cap screw is actually about a 60, let's see, 1632, a 64th under 5/8. So looking at the cap iron, I don't notice any changes to it from manufacture other than a slight secondary bevel on the front. And running my thumbnail across it, it is pretty much smooth. Thickness. Point 1. Two, 3. So we could just simply say 1/8 of an inch. Is it square? Absolutely square. You can't get much more square than that. From both sides. And the width of it, two and 3/8 inches. So the cap iron is 2 and 3/8 inches, and it is square. As to the cutting iron, also known as a blade, Now this has been honed once. I will hone it again only because I'm feeling just tiny burr on that. This measures, and I'm not sure if this is their standard A2. I'm going to assume that. It is 12534.142. 0.142. That's a thick iron. 2 3/8. 2 3/8. 2 3/8. And is it square? Yes. As to the bevel angle, .25. So it is square. Check, check. 25-degree primary. All right. Boy, I tell you, that's a lot of iron. All right. So we're not going to get too fussy with this because I will be taking it apart and honing it. Now, the lateral is standard two-piece lateral, and it is a brass thumb part of it for your thumb to move it is brass or bronze. It is screwed on to the lateral. The disc is spinning like a bearing. So that's perfectly fine. Lateral, two-piece, brass and steel, bearing, turns. The tote and knob are cherry. That's their signature. And what's interesting is for at least a period of time, I don't know if they still do it, but the cherry and their maple for their hand saws came from only 20 miles away from here. I know the sawmill. I don't know if they still do it. They did for a long time. They would reserve some of the finest materials just for Lie-Nielsen. And as always, the Lie-Nielsen tote is what it's supposed to be, and the knob is the tall knob, and it's perfectly fine. The screw is almost flush at the top. It's indented slightly, and the screw on top of the tote is protruding just a tiny bit right there. The toe screw is an oval-headed screw, and it is almost flush. Very, very smooth. No problems there. So we got cherry, and the screws are flush to almost flush. So the only thing left to talk about will be the yoke and the adjuster knob, or the adjuster nut as it is called. And this is where they vary slightly. It is 1 1/8 inch adjuster knob. and the yolk is bronze. Now, I don't know if you'll see it on camera, probably not. You may hear it. There is very little play in the yolk. If anything, left and right, which probably could get pinched in a little bit. That is very nice. As to how many turns the adjuster has to take, where are you? There we are. Okay. So that's about where I would have it in use. Maybe a little more. There we go. So, wow. Okay. So from retract to advance, 1/4. Wow. 1/4 and a half. 3/8 of a turn. Well, friends, there isn't a lot more I can say about this until we sharpen it and test it. The fit and finish is as expected from a plane of this price point. And like I said, this is more than likely a demo plane, which I am grateful for. I'm trying so hard not to let my bias or my opinion come into the video, but you have to admit it is a premium plane. So there you have it, everybody. The Lie-Nielsen 4.5 bedrock with a 45-degree frog, for your enjoyment. I hope you found something useful, helpful. You won't find anything entertaining, but like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your workshop. Walter out.